Hello, everyone. Mary Ann LeRay here at the filling station. Well, we have another wonderful guest here in the studio, Mandy Gillis. Did I say that right?
You did. Good morning.
From Maysville.
Yep.
And we've been hearing about Maysville Elementary a lot. And we have had the opportunity to chat at the Back to School Bash. And I've had the opportunity to be in your school and see all that's going on. But I know there's a whole lot more going on. But before we get to the Mustangs,
Right.
I really want our audience to know about you, your family, how you got to Maysville Elementary.
The Lord led me.
All right. Well, that's a good. That's good. That's good.
I will tell you that's what happened. So this is year 26 for me in education. So I have been doing this for a good little bit. And prior to becoming an administrator, I was a special education teacher. So I began my career teaching deaf children and moved eventually into a general special education realm and not so tailored. And I actually left education for a year. I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do. And after being out for just a couple months, I was like, yeah, I need to go back. So that's what I am. I'm an educator. So I went back into the classroom and taught for a bit, got my master's. I was in Onslow County at the time, got my master's because my grandparents said, if you go, we'll pay. And you can't. That's a pretty good price.
Absolutely.
So, and East Carolina was coming to us, so I didn't even have to go to Greenville. I didn't really have an argument at that point. So
removed
I did
all the
that.
obstacles.
Exactly. So I got my master's, and then the day of graduation, my grandfather looked at me and said, "So when are we getting our doctorate?" And I said, "Whoa, Granddaddy, like pump the brakes for just a minute. Like, can I walk the stage first?" And so that was kind of his way of encouraging me. And so I was working in Onslow County as an administrator, and my final year was the year of Florence. And it was a very difficult year, just all around difficult. And I toyed with the idea again of leaving education. I knew that I could not continue in that role that I was in because my health was taking a toll. I was in and out of the hospital a lot that year. So it was a difficult year. And I went into the summer and I thought, what's meant to be will be. The Lord will lead me where I need to be. And if it's back to that, then there's a reason for that. I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. So I knew that if I was led back to my current position, it would be for a specific reason. And it didn't. It led me to Jones County. I was actually doing vacation Bible school. And one of the teachers at Maysville Elementary attended church with us at the time. And she said, my principal is being promoted, which at the time was Dr. Marquis.
Yeah.
He's taken over at the high school. That opens up this position. So my mom and I work in the kitchen. I run out to my car, grab my laptop, and I feverishly start, updating all my stuff. And so from there.
So this happened at Vacation Bible School.
It did. It happened.
So the Lord did lead you.
When I say the Lord led me, I'm telling you, the Lord led me to Maysville. And so anyway, that's kind of how that story went. I ended up getting the job, and that was 7 years ago, and I haven't looked back. Like, wow. I absolutely love being at Maysville. So
yeah. Wow. There are a lot of major changes that happened during Florence.
Yes.
Whenever I think about that moment in time for this community, I think about all the blessings that have come from being turned upside down. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the reason that when we see disasters happening in other places across the country, certainly we are remorseful and prayerful.
Sure.
But we also know the promises that come from the brokenness. Mm-hmm. And so you said this was 7 years, and what a magical number 7 years is in the Bible.
It is.
And so there's a lot of really cool things that have happened. I know that you have shared in your bio that you were the principal of the year.
Yes.
Was that last year?
This is the current year. I'm currently
yes, the principal of the year for Jones County.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. That's one of the conversations, talking about the the disasters and
Yeah.
such things that happen. And it doesn't even have to be something as major as a disaster.
Yeah.
My husband and I have an 11-year-old daughter. She turned 11 yesterday. So we have an 11-year-old. And she, one of the things we talk about is, children trying to understand why things like that. Why do bad things happen? And
To good people.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I try to teach her that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it's to bring you closer.
Yeah.
So that maybe you've strayed, or maybe, you just needed a reminder that, what's at your core and your foundation, at least for us as a family, is to bring you closer to that. So I feel like that has been a good portion of my 7 years here in Maysville. So,
yeah. So I'm going to the deaf children. And the reason that I did read that in your bio, and I didn't share this with you before we started recording, but my mother, the oldest of four, her parents were deaf. And so this was in the late 40s when she was born. And she was relied upon as the communicator for the family.
Yes.
And so she has loved teaching sign language. She has taught in several different modalities. She's taught at Lenore Community College.
Right.
She's called on from Carolina East to help with communicating there. So I'm so excited that I can share with her that you might call on my mother for some sign language too. It is the most beautiful language.
So I have family members that are deaf. So that's kind of what sparked that interest when I was younger. I knew I wanted to, my grandmother was at the high school level. My mom was at the elementary level. I knew no matter how hard I fought it, that I was an educator at heart. And even saying I will never be a teacher, I absolutely couldn't imagine doing anything else. But I knew that I wanted something different. I am not a general education teacher. I just knew that there was something different in there. And so for me, it just kind of all unfolded slowly. And then lo and behold, that's where I am. And so I knew that I had that skill set at the time. And I grew up using sign language. Not everybody can do that. So how do I tie these things together? Because my aunt was one of the first deaf students at East Carolina. So, I saw success stories. I didn't see it as a poor little special education child. It was look at what success can be. And I wanted to be a part of that. Yeah. And so taking that special skill set of sign language and understanding the deaf community, and then taking that and putting it with education, it was a natural for me. Yeah. So I enjoyed that for a long time. And then, things changed. When I started, there were, it was heavy on the School for the Deaf. And that's, and so since in this almost 30-year span, special education kids are now more, it's more inclusive. And so I branched out just a little bit and went to more of a general special education fair. But yes, I can't imagine.
It is a beautiful, I love all the different signs. It is really beautiful to watch.
It is. It's very fluid, very beautiful. And often I've been asked to do that at church. We want to do this song. Can you sign it for us? And so, you do. And
it's a neat thing to have as part of your repertoire.
Exactly.
So let's get back to Maysville Elementary School. So you found this opportunity 7 years ago.
I did.
And I remember because I was kind of getting my feet wet here at the filling station, and I connected with you and brought some things over to the school for backpacks and different various things, and we've worked together over the years. But I have just seen you and the school just flourish. And so, share what's going on at the school.
Amazing things. Yeah. Amazing things. It's easy. It's easy. Going to work is easy when you work with absolutely phenomenal children and a staff that's just bang up. I love my people. We're a family. I've been there 7 years. It's not, I don't, I know what's going on in their personal lives. I know what's going on in my students' personal lives. And, when a parent calls and says, hey, this is going on, I know when that's not right. Or, when, you need me to take a little bit extra time with your child. And matter of fact, I was coming in the door this morning and having a conversation with a father about, some things going on with the child. And so but above and beyond that, when they walk in the doors, my mantra has been since day one, I want them to feel loved and I want them to feel safe. And if our kids can come in those doors and feel that every day, the rest of it will just fall into place. Mm-hmm. And it has. We've been able to show that. So when I got there 7 years ago, that was one of the first things I told the staff. I said, listen, my job is to stay out of your way. My job is to give you what you need to get the job done because you're doing the hard work. And so you tell me what you need, let me get it for you, and then you hit the ground running. And at the end of the day, when they walk out, I want them to know that this is their safe place and that when they come through those doors, they're loved. And I think, I'll ask my kids that every once in a while when I tell them I love them and, I hug them in the morning and tell them I love them. And I'm like,
mm-hmm.
you know that's true, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, Miss Gillis, yes.
Love conquers all.
Yes.
Right? You start there and everything works.
It does.
Out of that order, nothing works.
Absolutely. And I think it would totally you would be mind blown. Maybe not you because you've been in the schools, but I think people outside of the building, it would blow your mind some of the things that our children are experiencing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That they're not even, and I'm not saying Maysville Elementary, I'm saying children in general. Just a generalization.
What they are exposed to in our culture.
That they're not allowed to be children anymore. And so that's why I think it's imperative that they know they're safe in that building and that they know they can be children in the building and mm-hmm. that no matter what, they're going to be loved. And so again, I think once that has been established, and I feel like it has been established mm-hmm. in our building, that the rest of it kind of falls in place. And we mm-hmm. saw that last year with our scores, going through the roof, and us our students doing a phenomenal job on the EOGs. And I think a good portion of that is one of the things that we do is every Wednesday we have it's called Wacky Wig Wednesday. And so
how cute.
A wig is through Franklin Covey, which is the Leader in Me program. Wigs are wildly important goals.
I love it.
And so, I'm trying to brainstorm ideas. Okay, how can we, our kids are setting goals mm-hmm. every time they meet a goal, they set another goal. And so we're setting goals. Okay, well, what do we do with that? I mean, once they reach that goal, what do you do? Well, I don't know a single person that doesn't want to hear their name chanted or cheered.
Yes.
Everybody
it's the
does.
most important word in the English language is your name.
Right. And so we kind of, from that came, okay, well, I've heard of this other school, out doing Wig Wednesday, and everybody wears a wig to school, and, you celebrate.
Making it fun.
Right. And so I said, well, I'm too hot-natured to do a wig. I can't do it. So I've got to do something because I'm all about dressing up and acting foolish in front of the kids. And so we did Wacky Wig Wednesday. And so we, the kids come dressed wacky and the adults. And every single Wednesday morning after the morning announcements, we all gather in the gym and we celebrate our kids. We celebrate the growth that they're making. Did you set a goal and meet a goal? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so, you have to keep it exciting. So this year we added a blue carpet for our school colors. So we roll out the blue carpet. Yeah. And if you have a student that, Mandy has met her goal was to do X, Y, Z, and I met it or I exceeded it. I walk that blue carpet and the fanfare and the cheering and the paparazzi. And so I feel like the celebratory piece for us has been what has
key.
Yes.
Yeah, and
across the board,
helping them track, and mm-hmm. leading by example.
Absolutely.
And the students are following what they're seeing in the teachers and the leadership.
And we set individual goals. I mean, the students come in and they set, I made a 70 on my reading, what activity? Say it's reading test. We'll just say math test. Mm-hmm. I made a 70 on it. Next week I want to make an 80. Mm-hmm. And so you set that goal. Well, there's more to we don't just say I'm going to make an 80. How do we make an 80?
Right.
So, we have learned to try to teach those steps. And that's important because as an adult, a female adult, I want to lose 40 pounds. Yeah. I don't just say it and it happens. Right. I have to set goals and I have to work.
Step by step.
Right. So we have taken an adult skill and we're embedding it in our elementary school students. Mm-hmm. So that's a lifelong lesson that they learn how to set goals and reach goals. Now, and then you celebrate it.
You mentioned Leader in Me program. And so that is setting you up for something that you're working big.
Yes,
on.
ma'am.
So did you want to share a little bit about
Sure.
what you're working on now?
So obviously Jones County is a Leader in Me district. So that meaning that everyone in the district is utilizing the framework from Franklin Covey and the Leader in Me program. For those who aren't familiar, Franklin Covey wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Adults and Teens.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a whole gambit of books.
Yeah.
Well, Leader in Me is that framework that takes it from the Fortune 500 companies to an educational setting and breaks it down so that our students are developing habits that they can use for the rest of their lives. And so we all implemented that about 4 or 5 years ago. And so as a whole district, and, we have coaches that come in and help us with the leadership piece. And so I kept saying to our coach, I've worked in schools that are lighthouse schools. I've been there and I see it's amazing. And I see it at that end. I've never been in one at the ground. I don't know how to take us to that point. And I don't know how to get my people and my kids to see the value in it. And so, gosh, love her. She's an amazing person. Dr. Jethro has taken step by step with me. And so it's a natural progression. It's not something that we had to do physically.
Right.
Yes, we had to teach them the language and we have to use the language and keep them engaged. But children are naturally leaders. They want to lead.
They're resilient too.
They are very, and it's us that are adults that have a hard time relinquishing that control. And so that has been the biggest learning curve for us is to let them do it, and they take it and oftentimes will come up with far better solutions than what we have planned, and put them in a room and give them a problem. Hey guys, we're trying to figure out how to solve this problem. And I don't mean a math problem. I'm talking about a real life problem at our school.
Right.
Hey, we want to do this, but I don't know how to do it. Put a group of kids in a room and they will knock your socks off.
Yeah.
They will certainly
Give
come
them
up.
the breathing room and the creative place to do it. And
Absolutely.
they will shock you.
And they are doing it. So so that is what you reference is the next step in this is we've been implementing it now for 4 and 5 years. And the next step is, again, going back to that celebratory piece that I referenced, is they come in and the Leader in Me folks come in and they come in and look. Are you guys leading the way? Are you what's called a Lighthouse School? That certification of being designated a Lighthouse School indicates that you're taking the framework and you guys are applying it in a natural and authentic way on a day-to-day basis for your children, your adults, everybody in the building, which ultimately leads to it going into the community. It leads going into the homes and so forth. So we just recently had that visit from the head reviewer. Came into
Franklin Covey.
Well, this is Sean Covey's right-hand man came in the other day, and he and another reviewer, and spent the entire day at our school. And some of it was scheduled. They wanted time to sit down and talk to our student leadership team and talk to our staff leadership team, but some of it was not. A good portion of it was just let us go through and authentically see what's going on in the classroom. So we are waiting to hear back.
This is exciting.
It is exciting. It's like the drum roll is going, and I'm just waiting to hear back about what their thoughts are. They give you feedback and and so forth, and areas that certainly are still room for growth in certain areas. And but I'm waiting to hear back from that so we can unveil, the big. I'm speaking it into existence. We're going to unveil the big reward there, the celebratory piece for our kiddos.
Well, I am sure it's just a matter of time. And I really appreciate you extending the invitation to the filling station to be a part of that. And I love hearing the progress of what is happening at the school. And then, when one school thrives, they all thrive.
Yes.
And we all win. And for a small county.
Absolutely.
Us all working together, all the different towns working together, the schools working together. And wow, what a great superintendent that we all have. Bryce is continuing to do great work.
Right.
And
I will say this, when I came on board to Maysville, that was one of my big things personally, is I felt like, and just Maysville, and the longer I've been here, the more I see that it's not just Maysville, it's Jones County, but I said, we are too small of a school to be an entity by itself. We are going to absolutely depend on our community. And so I have made that kind of a personal mission to develop a strong relationship with the town of Maysville and local, entities within Jones County, because we are too small to work in a vacuum.
Yes.
And our kids at Maysville will eventually become Trojans at Jones Senior.
Exactly.
And then they will become thriving adults in Jones County. And, we have to support each other. We can't do it in a vacuum. Yeah. And so that was, kind of one of my goals personally when I came in, was to develop those relationships. And again, there's still room for growth. I mean, there are ways that we can still continue to develop those relationships with the school and the community and the district and the county and so forth. But we are very blessed to the great things that are going on in Maysville.
Yeah, you really are. I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with your town manager, Shamata Brown, and he loves the town.
Yes.
And the more that you love where you are planted,
yes,
the more you'll bloom.
Absolutely.
And so that's exactly what you have shared today. And as we wrap up our conversation, I do want our audience to know, be aware of your mascot and the significance of the mascot at Maysville Elementary School.
We are the Mustangs.
What is it about the Mustang, the characteristics of a Mustang, that really sets your school apart?
Well, having grown up with horses, to me, there's nothing more magical than a horse. They're strong, they're beautiful, they're they're vibrant. They're calming. They're all of the adjectives. I mean, there are so many adjectives you could use to describe a horse, and those same things are what goes on within our building at Maysville. So I just, we're strong, we're tough. We make it to the finish line.
Oh, I love it.
There's all those things. And, but not only are they tough, they're resilient, they're quiet. So I'm okay in our little corner of Jones County.
Yeah.
Maybe not a lot of people realize that there is a school back there in Jones County. I mean, in Maysville.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Well, I expect that now that we have we have a principal of the year from Maysville. We have a rural leader of the year, Shamata Brown from Maysville. There's a lot of wonderful things coming out of Maysville. Those children are watching that.
Right. Yes.
And they may not really understand the big picture, but they know what winning looks like.
Right.
And it's through their willingness that they will continue to win in life.
Absolutely.
And, when you've got the kind of roots that you are helping to lead and cultivate at this school,
right,
these kids will come back to Jones County. And, our county manager and our economic development director and the leadership of this county, that's what we're working so hard to do.
Absolutely.
Is to create our kids coming back and investing back into this great county.
Yes.
And so
I just had that conversation with my 5th grade students the other day, and we were talking about, 6th grade is coming back to the elementary buildings. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I love my kids. And I want them to stay.
Lose your 5th graders.
I don't. So I'm excited about it. But that was a tough blow for them.
Yeah.
They were already, they spent
primed
this year.
up.
Right. They have spent, and you can tell in some respects, they have spent this year building themselves up, ready to transition to a new building because they've been there since pre-K. And so we sat down and had a conversation because I felt like that's what was needed. So I kicked off my shoes. We grabbed some donuts, had some orange juice, and we chatted. What are your thoughts? It's okay. Positive, negative, good, bad, ugly, give it to me. Let's talk about it. And so we talked about it. And again, give them that space to communicate and they'll come up with solutions. And I think that my students they're good. They're good with it. And so we just had that conversation about there's nothing wrong with staying. Some may go off to college, some may go to the military, some may get a job right out of school. It doesn't matter what you do. What you have to do is, how am I going to make my place better? So you guys stay in Maysville. Listen, I'm from Swansboro. Like I fought my dead level best to get out of it. And it did not take me long to realize how good I had it. And I came back home.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. That is very admirable. The only question I want you to continue to think about is how are you going to make Maysville better?
Yeah.
And so those are the conversations that we're having with the upper
Love
grades
it.
is that
Love it.
stay here is great.
Love it. Love it.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, we do. We have to prepare the next generation to pass the baton because there will be a day, Mandy, that you and your husband will be looking to travel a little bit more and have a little bit more flexibility in your life. And
Right.
so we do. We need to. We have these wonderful years to
Right.
lead well, love well, and invest well. And so thank you so much
Absolutely.
for the
Thank you.
opportunity to sit down and share what's happening there at Maysville Elementary School. And we will be thinking about you as you all are awaiting the great
Yes.
news.
Yes.
Good luck to all of you for the end of grade testing.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's going to be great. You're going to have a
will.
great summer.
Yes.
And thanks
you.
again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for sharing this little bit of time with us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Filling Station 1075, and never miss an episode. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great time, great afternoon, and we'll see you on the next one.